Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about the 3 discs that taught me how to throw like Gannon Buhr. So what exactly do I mean by that? Gannon Buhr is known for throwing flex shots. He throws, kind of left to right, pulls them over and flexes them back. Same with kind of Ricky Wysocki, whereas a lot of other pros either have a flat release or maybe a hyzer flip release. About a year ago, I realized that I did not trust a single shot when thrown on flex. I had no clue what they're gonna do. I've developed my game over the years on hyzer. Every disc I throw the same way, pretty much like a 20% hyzer, and then however it plays off of that is how I use that disc.
There's 3 keys to disc golf: driving, approaching, and putting. You need all 3 to do this disc sport.
I kind of realized that not having, or at least not trusting and knowing what the flex shot was going to do, was obviously detrimental to my game. So I wanted to learn both, and that is where these discs came into play, specifically the Discmania FD1. Lucky for me, Casey hooked me up with this FD1 last year, right when they were coming out, and I fell in love with it immediately. I was throwing it for, just hyzer shots or flat shots, but it's when I started to realize that I could trust this more than most other fairway drivers is when I started to develop that left to right pull through. Currently, they are not in my bag though. You may ask why? So obviously I work with Finish Line discs, and they have the disc called the Torque. It is an 8-speed 4-glide 2.5 is the flight numbers. Very comparable to the 7-speed FD1. Specifically these new composite Torques. They're very, very similar to the FD1. The forged, a little bit more beefy, but still that same style of disc that you can really just trust. And then third, the trusty Eagle. This one probably a little bit straighter, maybe more similar to my seasoned FD1, and then this one a little bit beefier. So today we're going to be comparing the FD1, the Torque, and the Eagle. We got a 345-foot hole. We're going to show you the flight that I mainly use these discs for, and kind of talk you through what I think about these 3, because I haven't got to completely compare these 3, and I think they all kind of fit the same category, as well as how I developed this throw, how I learned to trust it. Real quick, I'm going to throw one of these just on my normal release angle, just so you can kind of see the difference between the 2. So first things first, the one thing that helped me do this probably the most, that might be obvious to some of you guys that have been playing for a while or are good at this shot, but some beginners might be like, well, that is obvious, but I've never tried that, is angling your body. Gannon obviously does this well because he throws a lot of flex shots, but he also has such crazy leverages that he can really control, I kind of feel like, the arm movement. Someone like Nicholas Antilla, who is like an angle master, you'll really see every time he's throwing a shot, he kind of like curls it up, but he always has his body tilted here, tilted flat, tilted up. And he's probably one of the players that if you want to see like, okay, how should I tilt my body when I'm throwing, maybe go look at him. But tilt the body. So obviously my normal throw down on a hyzer, simply put, don't do that. So I have a very over-exaggerated follow-through, some would say. I've had plenty of comments about my follow-through, and I try and really just make that off arm kind of come through, and I even hold it a little bit. Someone like Kale LaVisca, he does that great, where he'll throw a shot and he'll follow through, and he'll hold that follow through until the disc is on the ground. Now, is that necessary? Maybe not, but following through for the most part is necessary. So this is obviously better than not following through at all. So that's a brand new FD1. And see, that's kind of the flight that I really like, is that you can hit them on these annies. They're gonna come out, but they're not necessarily like a Firebird stability where they're gonna just hook right out. They kind of work a little bit more. Whereas that new one you saw, it's pretty beat up, so it almost just held the anhyzer. Oh no. Also guys, the new composite Torques are available on Infinite Discs right now. They just got released. If you've thrown the forged Torque and you loved it but want a straighter version, get one of these. Or if you threw the forged Torque and were like, a little too beefy for me, I think you'll really enjoy these. This plastic also feels so good. These ones are crystal clear. I've been really enjoying this disc since it came out. But let's get a couple more throws in. So that was more of like a baby Anheuser, I feel like. We're gonna try and hit this one a little bit higher here. Yeah. So that is the, like, don't hit that. Come on. That's the shot. The other ones I was kind of throwing a little too low, I feel like. But that is the shot where it really just pushes, a lot more push out of these style of discs than you would with like just an overstable Firebird type disc. I'm gonna throw the Forge Torques. These should be significantly more overstable. See, it like wanted to do the same flight, but then it really just faded out at the end. Big skip, which they are kind of like the perfect complement. Brand new orange Forge Torque. Haven't thrown this one yet, so we'll see how this flies. Feels a little softer than the purple one, so it might be a little straighter. Oh yeah, that's a flight. Yeah, that's perfect. So this Blue Eagle will probably be the straightest disc that I throw today. Wow, another beautiful flight. So for me, usually in order to get that style of throw, I had to release something flippier than what that Eagle would be. So like that's an Eagle X, you know, the one with more of like the T-bird lip, whereas I also throw a lot of Eagle L's. Those are a little bit flippier. So the Eagle L, if I wanted to get that shot shape, I would throw that on a hyzer. It would flip up to flat and then get late turn. Where that was more of like released flat on slight Annie and never really was hyzering. It was only ever going straight and then turning right. 2003 Brent Hambrick CE. Another thing that you'll probably see me do, and also keep in mind, I'm not a coach, and all of this is just my opinion on how I'm developing my game. But my form, I feel like on certain throw styles looks different because I use my body a lot in terms of like, you know, kind of like a little body English to really, like I might hit that shot and then my leg's gonna like come up and swing around, or I might even like hop into shots sometimes and do all sorts of weird things that I'm not thinking about, but I'm just letting my body do what it has to do. During Bedanza's form series with Drew made a point to say, like, you can always work on having perfect form or the form that you want. You can always work to have that, you know, in the field or during practice rounds. But he said when it comes to competition, you kind of just got to let your body do what it has to do to execute the shot. And that really like stuck with me, that point, because I'm definitely the type of person who I film, you know, almost everything I do on the disc golf course. So I watch it all back while I'm editing. And a lot of times I don't like how my form looks, even if the shot was perfect. And as much as I want my form to improve and get better, I also need to realize that if that's what my body wants to do in order to execute the shot, you can't really be mad at that. You know, I think a lot of people overlook, or not overlook, a lot of people overdo it with like the form work, and they never let their just natural abilities or natural athleticism kind of flow through. Someone like Cole Redolin, just recently on his Instagram story, he talked about how for the longest time with his putt, he's been trying to copy somebody. And just recently, he said he's done copying somebody else's form. He's just gonna let his body putt how his body wants to putt. And I think that translates to every other style of throw as well. Not that I'm copying what Gannon does, but I think Gannon is like the most well-known flex shot player other than maybe Ricky Wysocki. But those two are so known for not really throwing hyzer flips. They throw kind of over the top left to right flex shots, and that works for them. And it might not work for other players, but I think to develop yourself as a player, the more shots you can have and be confident in, the better. So now I'm gonna play this hole backwards, and I'm actually gonna set myself up basically lined up with these two trees and then hit the left to right shot through this gap and then try and land them near the tee pad. Beauty, beauty. Ooh. See, if you could see how my form there might have been a little weird because I kind of like threw and like hopped through it, but the execution of the shot itself was literally perfect. I'm a foot from the tee pad. We'll go FD1s next. Ooh. Yeah. Money. Ooh. Tailwind should bring that one back. Yeah. Ooh. Nice, nice. All right. Composite torques. Ooh. Did not turn that one quite enough. Or is it just more stable? I don't know. Ooh. There it is. Yeah, I might slide off the tee. That's on the tee pad. All right, forged torques. Ooh. A little more Annie with the tailwind. Yeah. This orangey might make the bag. Kind of like the stability of this more than the first run purple. Oh. Come back. All right. This shot might look relatively simple, I guess, to a lot of people, but for me, it's always been a shot that I've struggled with or it's not even necessarily the motion of the shot, it's knowing where it's gonna go. You know, I can obviously pull a disc from left to right, but knowing where it's gonna go is the important part and the hard part. And although not perfect, and I am probably more accurate still with a hyzer flip, because that's my natural game and it has been for 15 years, those shots were pretty accurate. One more here, this is probably the most stable one. Oh, kind of slipped there. Yeah, that thing's a beef dog, especially with the tailwind, especially. So that's pretty much just a quick demonstration of, you know, my thought process when it goes into learning a new shot shape. That Gannon Buhr style throw, I do think can be so accurate. And then for me, if I can pair that with my already accurate and, you know, very confident hyzer flip game, well, that just opens up a whole new world of opportunities for myself on the backhand. And it's really made me trust a lot of my angles more. Now I don't really question like, oh, should I just try and force the hyzer flip turnover? No, now I'm confident enough to just pull the left to right flex, you know, and obviously you can throw more stable discs and they're gonna flex out more, or you can even just throw pure left to right and hyzers, which is also another shot I've never been super good at. It's always like throw something super flippy, really high on hyzer, and then get that late turn, kind of like the DX Aviar shots you guys see me throw. Well guys, that's pretty much gonna do it for today's video. The Gannon Buhr style shot I think is something that if you don't have it in your game, maybe start working on it. Also, I would recommend one of these 3 discs, the Discmania C-Line FD1, or maybe if you're a lower power player, go with like a Skywalker. They're a little bit straighter. Just a classic Eagle is always good. And then the new Finish Line discs Torque, the forged beef composite, they're out now, available on Infinite Discs. Go check one out. They're really nice. I really enjoy them. That style of throw I think is just something that I'm obviously going to continue to work on. I'm not perfect. You saw me shank a few over there, but it's something that I've never been even remotely confident in, and now I feel like I'm pretty confident in it. I've also been throwing it a little bit with like the PD2 lately, some more distance drivers, and it just, like I said, it just opens up more opportunities on the disc golf course. The more shots you have, I like to think of myself as like a player who has almost every single shot of some sort, forehand and backhand. I could bust out an overhand if I needed, but yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know if you want me to make the hyzer flip tutorial. I don't know if I want to call it the tutorial. Let me know if you want me to make my thoughts on how to be good at throwing hyzer flips, because I will say that I think I'm good at them. A lot of people have said I'm good at them, and a lot of people have asked for that video. Let me know if that's something you think I should make. Just kind of take you through my mindset of like how I see the hyzer flip, because I do think for a lot of players, especially if you're like a I guess any type of course, but in the woods, the hyzer flip just, whew, it's money. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. We will see you in the next one. Yep.
And right here, I have a frisbee bag. It holds all my frisbees, the ones I like.